Just a reminder, after the meeting, we're gonna go in the back and courtesy of Miller and Caggiano, we're gonna have our annual luncheon back there, so feel free to join us afterwards. Make sure everyone needs to have one of these bracelets to go back there, so make sure if you don't have one, come see us after the meeting before we go out there. So with that, I'm gonna call the meeting to order with Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and remain standing for a moment of silence for our departed members and the brave men and women of the armed services who, as we speak, are defending our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We go to the roll call of officers. President Kevin McCaffrey is here. Secretary Treasurer Chuck White. Present. Vice President John Zapoli.
Here.
Recording Secretary Laura Campione. Here. Trustee Charles Paul. Here. Trustee Jose Marino. Here. And Trustee Anthony Broadstein. Here. Okay. We're going to start with the reading of the minutes from the meeting of April 26, 2026 by Recording Secretary Laura Campione.
Good morning. General membership meeting, Teamsters Local 707, April 26, 2026. President McCaffrey called the meeting to order at 9:06 a.m. There was a pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence for Local 707's former Secretary Treasurer Vinnie Cangelosi, who passed away in March of 2026, as well as for all of our brave men and women of the armed forces who serve to protect our freedom. There is a roll call of officers, all were present. President McCaffrey called on Recording Secretary Laura Campione to read the minutes of the February 8, 2026 general membership meeting. President McCaffrey asked for a motion to accept the minutes as read. Motion was made by Brother Pat Mustrick, and seconded by Brother Chris Pizzuto. Motion passed unanimously. Financial report, President McCaffrey called on Secretary Treasurer Chuck White to read the financial report. President McCaffrey asked for a motion to read a summary of the financial report for the months of January, February, and March 2026. A motion was made by Brother Chris Pizzuto, unseconded by Brother Pat Mustrick. Motion was approved. Secretary Treasurer White read the financial reports for the months of January, February, and March 2026. President McCaffrey asked for the motion to accept the financial report as read. A motion was made by Brother Pat and seconded by Brother Chris. Motion passed unanimously. Trustees declaration. President McCaffrey called on Trustee Paul to give the trustees declaration. Trustee Paul reported that the trustees of the local 707 executive board have examined the books and records of the local union for the months of January, February, and March 2026 and have found them to be reported correctly and the bank balances verified. Unfinished business, new member orientation. New member orientation at the end of this meeting. Directly, please see Vice President John Zapoli after the meeting. Organizing, Central Freight Organizing. After intense efforts in the Northeast to make effective contact as Central Transport workers, almost all locals reported less than enthusiastic response. 2 weeks ago, the company gave drivers a $6 an hour raise, which completely stifled the organization efforts. The IBT and Local 707 are committed to organizing in the freight business. We have been asked to change our focus on smaller units, 100 people or less. Business agents of the local gave updates to the membership on where they are in the organizing of different trucking companies in the area. YRC bankruptcy. MFN, a private equity fund, and the majority shareholder in YRC is challenging every decision made by the courts. Currently, MFN had an appeal of the court decision before the Supreme Court for a challenge to the bankruptcy judge's decision on pension fund withdrawal liability calculations. Until this is adjudicated, there could be no settlement of any other outstanding claims, such as unpaid sick or personal vacation time. All are waiting to see if the court takes the case, which seems unlikely. Arthur Schumann Cheese has scaled down operations due to tariffs. New business contract recently ratified, none. Contracts being negotiated: Colonial Hardware, Westside Tennis, Grimes Hills, and RS Integrated. T-Force Freight. Several local 707 grievances were heard at the T-Force national hearings. The biggest had national implications for protecting geographical descriptions in the bid process. The case was put on committee hold while the union and the company attempt to find a resolution. There are a pending grievance in Bay Shore for subcontracting and safety issues in the yard. Newburgh also has outstanding grievances on forced overtime and daily guarantees for extra work days. Hudson News shut down. What was originally an orderly shutdown has now turned into bankruptcy proceedings. Hudson News is now contesting several severance pay and withdrawal liability payments to the pension fund. There were 7 members in New Jersey. Penske. Arbitration for theft of time was successful with the grievant receiving reinstatement and full back pay. ABF, panel hearing for discharge, unpaid sick leave. Good and welfare, Miller and Caggiano, update. Rod Rogers of Miller and Caggiano Workers Comp attorneys gave the update to the membership. Scholarship opportunities. There are 3 scholarship opportunities for graduating seniors as follows. Local 707 Scholarship Fund, Teamster Scholarship Fund, and the James R. Hoffman Scholarship Fund. All materials, applications, and deadlines will be sent to the shop stewards. Scholarships, formation of scholarship committee outreach will be made to the membership for volunteers to serve on the local 707 Scholarship Fund. The purpose is to redesign the scholarship program in terms of eligibility and grant amounts. Scholarship Golf Outing is scheduled for June 8, 2026 at the Hempstead Country Club. 50/50 raffle tickets are available from your shop steward or see retirees at the back of the room. Facebook page, Local 707 has its own Facebook page now, Teamsters Local 707. Please like, follow the page for updates. Expected an update on the website soon. Welfare reminders, electronic EOBs. Sign up is available at www.roadcarrier707.com. Go to login and terms of use. And then you have to opt in for electronic EOBs. New prescriptions drug provider, the fund has changed its PBM from Optum to MedOne, effective 1/1/2026. Members should all have new pharmacy cards. New case manager, the fund now contracts Hines and Associates. Their contact information is on the back of your medical card, used for hospital pre-certification and for MRI, CAT scan, and certain other procedures. Signature verification forms for retirees will be going out in the summer instead of the fall to alleviate any issues with the holidays and the 13th check. Pension applications usually take 3 months to complete. Please contact Gina Marie in our pension fund department for more information. We expect to provide more detail on the fund website under roadcarrier707.com about the pension process. Any changes to banking information or address changes must call the fund office. Recognition of veterans, as always, we recognize our veterans and have pins available for them at the meeting. President McCaffrey asked for a motion to adjourn the meeting. A motion was made by Brother Chris and seconded by Brother Pat. The meeting adjourned at 10:14 a.m. Respectfully, Laura Campione.
Thank you, Laura. Any additions or corrections to the minutes as read? Hearing none, I'll take a motion from Chris,
Sorry.
second from Jimmy,
So
Chris
long.
Pizzuto and Jimmy Ryan.
Yeah.
Can have Pizzuto roll off your tongue. You can be able to do that next meeting.
Yes,
I know.
did.
He's Pizzuto, Chris Pizzuto. James Ryan is an easy one. That's why.
I wrote James.
What did they say?
Jimmy.
You did.
Oh, James, it was James?
Yeah.
Okay. James, please correct that.
Because I do know he likes
And
James.
make sure that, so, okay. All right, well, a motion to accept the minutes is read? Oh, we made a motion, we just did vote, all in favor, opposed? Okay, we've accepted minutes. Next, we have communications. The first is finally the bylaw approval from the general president. It was a Herculean effort to get those all, what we thought was just a simple bylaw change. Then they looked at all of our bylaws and said they weren't in compliance with some mandated bylaw changes that need to be made back from previous conventions. But we've got a handle on it, and we've got new bylaws. If anyone's interested in a copy of it, please let us know, we'll get them to you. The next is a July 13th correspondence from the Freight Director John A. Murphy, and this is concerning the yellow plan of liquidation that's going into effect. As we've reported previously, YRC or MFN was contesting out all the way to the Supreme Court the calculation of withdrawal liability owed to the pension funds. The Supreme Court has denied their request to hear their case, so they understand now they've got to pay withdrawal liability. It is going through a process right now where they've appointed a what they call liquidating trustee. Yellow's assets have been transferred to the liquidating trustee, and that should expedite things. That's the next phase. MFN is still contesting. Let me go back to this. So MFN is a company that bought Yellow's assets as they were going into bankruptcy. And so they are now the largest shareholder of Yellow, and they have a controlling interest. So they've been the one that has been contesting all these things. Basically what it's done is prevented any kind of agreements be approved with the pension funds withdrawal liability, but more importantly is the sick and vacation, any other accrued time is owed to members of former workers of Yellow Freight, YRC. And so that's still being held up. MFN is contesting everything along the way, really dragging this out. The other ones getting rich here are the lawyers, and but we are in that next phase where they've appointed a liquidating trustee. Throughout 25 and 26, the Teamsters have continually appealed to different decisions. The most relevant one was the Warren Act claims, which 2 judges right now have denied. YRC took the position that they were a liquidating entity at the time, and thus not subject to the Warren Act provisions, which says that you have to give 90 days notice before you close down, and that's been upheld twice. The IBT is continuing to appeal that decision. Any updates on the Warren Act or any of these other things you can find on the IBT website. That's teamster.org. It's the best way to get up-to-date information. And we have any questions about YRC, about the bankruptcy, or? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Bonding 219.
Yeah.
What are the liabilities for that? I mean, like, what would that be?
For which? For the?
From a financial standpoint, like, what would they have to pay back all of, restitution for whatever?
No, the most significant claim, you mean the Warren Act claims?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Warren Act claims are significant in that they would be potentially liable for 90 days of pay for each employee that they didn't give them notice of.
And what about pension contribution?
The pension, it's not the contribution so much as the withdrawal liability.
Okay.
And a lot of the funds, including ours, have entered into an agreement that would accept a lesser amount to kind of end the litigation, and it's kind of dwindling down the longer this goes on,
So none of the revenues received just go to the workers, not the union itself?
Well, the first people that will get paid would be the accrued time that people didn't get paid
Right.
for. People that had vacation time left or sick time left and they never got paid. That would be more of higher on the list of payback than would be the withdrawal liability claims for the pension funds. It's significant. It's a lot of money could be for the withdrawal liability claims, but they've already been whittled down already. So MFN wants to be able to hold on to as much assets at the end. They made a huge investment into YRC with the expectation that there would be more assets left after the settlement of the bankruptcy claim. So it's in their best interest, but not ours, to fight tooth and nail to try and keep on as much as they can. So had they not been involved, it would have been a lot simpler bankruptcy. Would have gone to they would have said, this is all we have. The bankruptcy judge would come in there and go through it. So,
Thank you.
okay. All right, with that, I'm going to go to the financial report. I'm going to call on Secretary Treasurer Chuck White to read the financial reports for the months of April, May, and June 2026. There's a motion to read that summary. Motion by Chris Pizzuto, second by James Ryan.
Yes.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, we're going to get the summary. Chuck, if you would.
Morning, everybody. Okay, financial report for April, May, and June 26. Membership dues, $198, $354.05. Initiation, reinitiation, $23,949.68. Withdraw and transfers, $212.50. Assessments and fines, $6,573. Funds and transmittal, 50 cents. Other income, $22,918.19, gives us a total income of $252,007.92. Expenses, salaries, $69,486.46. Expense allowances, $6,690. Per capita, $40,557.23. Contributions, $350. Benefits paid, $42,710.40. Funds and transmittal expenses, $212.50. Funds and refunds, refunds and dues, $208. Refunds, initiations, and reinitiations, $37.50. Refunds and other, $4. Office administration, $33,004.90. Legal fees, $182. Arbitration fees, $3,900. Other professional fees, $16,266. Taxes, $5,888.26. Meeting and committee expenses, $1,544.51. Auto expenses, $3,714.74. Out of town travel, $7,951.51. Other expenses, $5,385.12. Total expenses, $238,093.13. Gives us a net income of $13,914.79. Our assets from April 26 was $134,230.47. Assets as of now, $148,217.26.
Any increase?
What's that?
You know what the increase is? Don't do the
No.
math. Don't
No.
try and do the math. Don't try and do the math.
They're not increasing.
Any questions?
Yeah, what's the increase?
I'll figure it out and I'll get back to you, Bob.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to accept the financial report as read? I'm gonna go with the same, it's easier for the recording secretary, Chris Mizuno and James Ryan, second by James.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. So move. Next is we're gonna read the trustee declaration. We're gonna call on trustee Paul to read the trustee declaration for the months of April, May, and June 2026.
Good morning, everybody. The trustees of Local Union 707 have examined the books and records for the months of April, May, and June, and found them to be recorded correctly and the bank balance is verified.
Thank you. Okay, next, we're gonna go into old business. There'll be a new member orientation after the meeting. Is anyone, we have any new members here for the orientation? You do? We got one? Okay, so we'll come in afterwards and we'll make sure you see John Zapoli after the meeting, and he'll give you the new member orientation. The next is the organizing reports of business agents. I'll start off, as we discussed in the previous minutes, Central Transport, despite our best efforts, we kind of hit a roadblock all over the Northeast where we were going in. And once the company started seeing that we were out there, they actually gave them a $6 an hour raise, and that kind of put a crimp on everything. And so they haven't thanked us yet, but the workers at Central Transport should thank the Teamsters for our efforts.
I told them to thank us.
Yeah. So, next is, as we said before, we're trying to focus in on some of the smaller units, like less than 100. And I don't want to mention any names because we put this on YouTube, but there are some entities within our jurisdiction we actually do business with, and some of the subcontractors, et cetera. So we're going to need help of the people that actually go there, and we spoke about that, and we're going to speak to the T-Force people as well to take a look at if we have any connections in those companies as well. So we're going to move. That's what I'm going to be working on, trying to find some more targets. I'm going to bring up Secretary Treasurer Chuck White, talk about some of his one of his targets that he's working on, continuing to work on.
Hello again. Okay, so it was a while with Penske. We had we sent some emails, I had been up there, and we went for a plateau for a while. I went back up there, and, excuse me? Penske is, they hold the auto parts for Chrysler and Fiat is their main company. There's a couple of little companies too, but most of it is Chrysler and Fiat. All the Chrysler, Mopar, Dodge, everything. So they work at their facility and they hold the products, they deliver them in quite a large area. So there's about 57 guys up there. Like I said, I had been up there prior, had a real good, everybody seemed very positive. They have a lot of abuse going on up there, but we just had a hard time getting them together. So we had a plateau for a while, some emails going back and forth. I was back up there this week and spoke to a lot of guys, and it turns out what we thought happened. The company got wind of the emails and they had corporate come down and scare all the guys. So I did find a couple guys who were willing to talk. I gave some flyers out, and there is some other stuff going on with Penske. There is a national contract or a regional contract going on with the mechanics, so that's a positive thing for us. We're gonna send it to them, and we're gonna send that email out to them, and I'm gonna go back up there at a different time, but it looks like there's probably maybe 25, 30 new guys, so they have seen me. I'm trying to get a little trust developed there. Right now, they were afraid. One guy actually had to tell him it's okay to take the flyer. He was afraid to touch the flyer. So they're a little afraid. They got him running scared. So, but it's taking time. I'll be back up there, but eventually we'll get this going. So that's best of luck with Penske.
I just say, it's not easy, this organizing, you know, you 5 steps forward, 10 back, but we're gonna keep plugging away, because we gotta keep growing this local, like we reported before, you lose some here, lose some there, we gotta continue to grow. We're gonna continue those efforts. Next, I'm gonna bring up Vice President John Zapoli to let us know what he's been doing about organizing.
Good morning, guys and girls. I still been just concentrating on the one company, which is the Crescent Packaging, and it's been, it's hard to catch them on the road because there's no way to sit by their facility. I got lucky to catch 1 or 2 coming out of it, going to their cars that are at the end of the gate, and I was able to talk through a gate through them. But I did catch 1 or 2 on the road at delivery spots, like in my travels, and I just pulled right over and spoke to them. And like I said, like always, they're positive. I give them the flyer. I just wish I can see, catch them again and like, hey, what happened? You were talking a good game. You were interested. Like you said, it's really tough to get these people to just give you a call back. That's pretty much all I have on the organizing. I'm just concentrating on that one company instead of bouncing around too much. Like I said, if you ever see those, they're pretty much the blue trucks, Crescent Packing. If you ever see them, I can give flyers. You can sometimes from driver to driver, you'll get better feedback and communication. So everybody ever needs any flyers, just please let me know. Whatever help we can get, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And Crescent Packaging is actually, they do a food distribution. They're located right in Farmingdale and Central Avenue. And that's going to be one of our focuses also on, because we represent numerous companies in the food distribution business. The biggest one is DeCarlo, obviously. And so we're going to continue to work that the way. Next is the YRC bankruptcy. We spoke about that already under the communications. Next, T-Force Freight. We've had several in Farmingdale, or they're called Farmingdale, but it's Bayshore. Several grievances has been resolved. One of them was over the potholes in the yard, and it was more the potholes. It was the complete deterioration of the yard on the ABF side. And they finally came in and they did just patched it for now. They're in litigation with the landlord over them doing a complete redoing of all the cement in there, which really needs to get done, but at least it's, no one's breaking their neck in there right now, so that worked out. Also, we're very successful in winning a grievance or settlement of a grievance that we always have traditionally had geographical descriptions in our bids when you bid on there, and we ended up hearing that case, and they settled that case, and they've agreed to put those geographical descriptions back in. I know Chris Pizzuto, who formerly was at T-Force, now at ABF, was very helpful in trying to give me some of that historical information on that. And Mike Cray in the back, the former shop steward, also was helpful in making sure what we had, and that helped us have them settle that grievance by keeping those geographical descriptions in there. And also we've also had, we have a grievance that's gonna be heard in August about subcontracting. The company continued to push start times back, reduce overtime. At the time they were giving out, probably in a 6-week period, they gave away 2,100 bills, and the next 6-week period, more than that, probably closer to 3,000. And so we have that grievance is gonna be heard, and now they are starting to do a few more things. They've rented more trucks, more straight trucks. They're working people on Saturdays and Sundays, which is what we want. You know, you can't subcontract freight while you're reducing work hours of the bargaining unit employees. So we're gonna continue to pursue that through the grievance procedure, and we're hopeful that we'll get a positive outcome out of that. But right now, they've already changed the way that they're starting to do stuff. Newburgh, we have one grievance right now on the 6-day cap on the workday. Right now, if you work in the T-Force contract, if you, on your 6th day, it's capped at 8 hours, right, Chuck?
Yes.
You can only work 8 hours on your 6th or 7th day, and we have a grievance over that because the way they're trying to calculate the work week. And also, we have another grievance on their use of technology for discipline. They were trying to use technology for speeding violations, etc. And so we believe that case is going to be either heard by us or piloted with another grievance from Local 776 in Newburgh, and as a similar situation. So, any questions about T-Force?
Harrisburg. 776 Harrisburg.
What'd I say?
You said Newburgh.
No, Harrisburg.
Yes, Harrisburg.
Newburgh, Harrisburg. So, okay. We talked about Hudson News. We're continuing to go through the bankruptcy procedures with them. We filed claims for the Warren Act, as well as for accrued time for that they didn't pay out. And we're going to be going through the bankruptcy proceeding with Hudson News as well. Next, they're OTB. I want to give an update on OTB. We've been fortunate at OTB that the New York State law allowed each one of the regional OTBs to get 1,000 VLT, video lottery terminals. Suffolk County used that to open up their own facility at Jake's 58 on the expressway. Nassau took a different route where they actually gave their machines for use, or basically leased those to Resorts World in Queens, and they got a substantial amount of money for doing that, and that's really what keeps our Nassau OTB afloat. Recently, you may have heard that Resorts World got a full casino license, and there's a provision in the law that said that if you have a full casino license, you cannot use those video lottery terminals. Right now, Nassau OTB continues to get paid even though they're not using those VLTs. They have a contract with Resorts World for the next, I think the end of this, I think next 2027 or 2028, and they are honoring that contract right now. And you'd say, why would they continue to pay for these machines they're not using? They don't want the competition. They don't want Nassau to open up its own facility, and that could draw away from what Resorts World would do. People from Nassau, instead of going to Jake's 58 or going to Resorts World in Queens, would just go to Nassau, and we'll see what happens. That's still moving forward. And also we have their agreement is up at the end of the year, and we're going to start getting to work on that. Next is contracts that were recently ratified: Colonial Hardware and Westside Tennis. And currently we're negotiating contracts at Grimes Hills, RS Integrated, and Windorama. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. Next under Google, is there anything else under new business? Yes, Anthony?
About 10 days ago, ArcBest put out a change of operations memo that they're closing 10 small terminals and reorganizing in some way with their Panther and so forth. I was just wondering, is this a tiny little chip on a windshield or is a big rock coming?
No, they're just the terminal question that the closest to us. It's on the Rhode Island, Connecticut border, and it has 8 people on it, and it's underutilized. And so they're just moving the work to 4 of the surrounding terminals. So they're looking at those smaller terminals. We don't have those smaller terminals. They're trying to, they're trying to make as much money as they can, and they look at the revenues being brought in and the costs associated with manning those terminals. So we'll have no impact whatsoever. It's not near our service areas, and they're just simply moving the work to larger facilities. So, okay. Anything else? James?
So I know John did something with ABF with light duty when you were out on comp,
Yes.
and he went to a panel or something on that, right?
No, not me, no, that was just something that happened, and now they have to have light duty in all terminals.
Because in Bay Shore, we've never had light duty,
Yeah.
and they both, and the management has always been against the light duty, but now it seems to be a thing. Because when I spoke to the claims adjuster, that was the first words out of her mouth. She was like, "Oh, if you can do light duty, or if your doctor approves light duty, then you can make more money than what supposedly you can make more money than what your regular comp pays."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and
I'm just
you-
wondering if any elaboration on that, or what the job duty would be for.
Do you want to do light duty?
No.
Okay. So why would you want me to?
Then don't
But
say nothing
if they're-
more.
I'm not gonna say nothing then.
I know, but if they're pushing for that, what?
Let me tell you this, if they do offer you light duty, and I was gonna bring up Mike and Jake in a minute, the comp experts, but generally, if you refuse light duty, they can reduce your benefits, is that correct? Oh, you can speak about that when you come up, you're up next, so, all right, so they'll ask about that, so, okay, so we're not gonna mention light duty, right?
Okay.
All right.
Well, I know Brooklyn does it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
He watches TV all day.
Right. Okay, did that answer your question?
No.
No, it didn't. But I didn't want to answer the question because you don't want to do light duty.
Right.
But if you did want a light duty, we could.
But, we have a number of people out on comp, and if they're gonna push that towards,
They haven't said anything about doing it, but they
Okay.
could do it, yeah, so, all right. Okay, anything else on the new business? Okay, now we're going to good and welfare. We're gonna bring up Mike Walker and Jake Bloom from Miller and Caggiano, who are also our hosts for our luncheon today, as they are every year. So, Mike, you wanna come up? And address for the summer reception.
Yeah, I like July, we don't have to put on the suit, so thank you. Good morning, everybody. We won't take up too much of your time. Just a few things that we'll hit on. One of them was, we've been talking about YRC and the bankruptcy. If any of you has a claim when you were working at YRC, a workers' comp case, you still have access to that claim. You still have access to medical treatment, and God forbid, you need to go out of work for that injury, of recurring symptoms or worsening. You have to go out for a surgery, you still have access to wage replacement checks through that claim. So, doesn't matter how old it is, if that's something that you have going on and you need help with it, let us know. But a lot of people have the misconception that if they're no longer with the employer's out of business, that they're out of luck, and that's not the case. Another one, Kevin was talking about some of the potholes in the yard. If you get hurt on your employer's property, even if you haven't clocked in for the day, or you clocked out, you're walking back, it's dark, you hurt yourself in that pothole, it's called safe ingress and egress. You're allowed under the law to file a workers' comp claim if you're walking to your normal parking area or to the building from your area to clock in and you get hurt. So don't think, oh, it was 10 minutes before my shift, I'm out of luck, I can't get paid, I can't get medical treatment. That's a workers' comp case. They're very fact specific. They'll probably fight it, but that's something that we see a lot of, unfortunately, we can help with. And then if there's a separate owner of that property where you're leasing it, you could also have a third-party negligence claim, which would be far more valuable than even the workers' comp case. Last thing I'll hit on is we were talking about light duty.
Excuse me. May I ask you a question before you move on?
Of course.
In the past, I think somebody got paid because they were in an accident on the way to work. Is that true, or?
Those are all, yes and no. It depends how close you are to work. I mean, if you just left your house, you're still 15 minutes from work, probably not covered. But sometimes employees are portal to portal, where you have a company vehicle, you're on call, you could be making a work call, or if you're between jobs, you know, you're driving, you could get covered, but whether or not it's covered, that's something, give us a call. You know, we could, you know, analyze it, the facts of the situation, file it, see if we can get that covered. All right? Regarding light duty, your employer under the workers' comp law does not have to offer light duty. However, if they do, that's available to you. It's always a good option. You know, you still have the same access to medical treatment even if you're back to work and working light duty. One thing to be cognizant of is if they do give you an offer of light duty and you refuse it, they can argue at that point you're no longer out of work because of workers' comp injuries, and you're out of work because you refused the job assignment that you voluntarily withdrew from the labor market. If that's the case, and they offer you light duty, you know, we want to see that letter because it has to be specific. It needs to tell you exactly the hours, what it entails, how much lifting restrictions, you know, does it require you to bend, stoop, lift, push, pull, and so forth. Because if it's not specific, then we can argue, hey, you know, it wasn't a real offer. They don't know what that entails. They're risking their health. You need to be able to take that letter and show it to your doctor and have the doctor sign off and say, okay, this meets the restrictions. Yes.
Yeah, in the past, it would have been, I know that we don't have a line where UPS freight, but they would offer light duty on a temporary basis, a transit basis, which then you know, just kicks you right back to square one. Is that anywhere you're talking about that? Because like I say, sometimes that 30-day thing isn't even worth it to take the light duty, then they kick you right back to the beginning with less money, they got fired and everything else. So that's why some of the times that light duty is really bullshit.
It is. It's gamesmanship a lot by the employer. I mean, ideally, you do the light duty, you can transition back to your full-time work. But if that's the case and you can't do it, make sure you continue to follow up with your healthcare provider so you can document. I always tell my clients that just make sure the doctor puts that in the note that you're doing light duty, and even that is posing difficulties and issues. So if the 30 days runs out or however long they give you, you can say, well, my doctor never cleared me. I could only do the light duty and I barely got through that. And then we can at least make an application.
Should they have a timing on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have a timing on light duty, correct?
That's really up to the employer, unfortunately. Now, I've seen, you know, like police officers, they'll get restricted duty, they'll give it to them for years. You know, but when you're dealing with private employers, that's something that gets negotiated as part of the terms of your, you know, employment, and then sometimes they don't have the light duty work to do for you anymore. They'll say, all right, look, you did all the light duty we have, there's not really much, we can't just have you sit in the office and do nothing. So,
Most of the employers have it in there that they, once you reach MME, which is maximum, MMI, maximum medical improvement, they will not offer you light duty anymore.
Okay.
So it's transitional, they're trying to get.
right. So you want to keep in touch with the employer and the union on that front to see what your rights are, you know how to plan accordingly, and then we'll help you navigate through on the workers' comp side of the equation. All right, so, any other questions?
That's why it's important to have you guys behind us, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we're gonna be here. Thanks for everyone coming out. Anybody that wants to talk to Jacob or myself afterwards, we're gonna be hanging out with you guys, you know, having some lunch, having a good time. So thanks for letting us speak today.
All right, thank you for that lunch.
James, did that answer your question? That answer your question?
Okay, thank you.
But, Kevin,
Yes.
in Article 14, don't we address all of that in Article?
Yeah, and it's each one of the contracts is different, like T-Force would be different than our Article 14 for workers' complex.
I think it was 30 days.
Yeah, it's all different.
We had that on our duty for 2 years.
Yep, yeah, there can be, some people make a career out of it, so. I'm sorry, I just gotta jump back to new business. I forgot to mention, we recently had a grievance case down in the Eastern region, and there was about ABF in Brooklyn, and they were subcontracting work at a time that people were being sent home, and a lot of people, there was like 7 or 8 people. We used to do all what they call the white glove final mile deliveries. In Brooklyn, we actually, and I think we did it in Bayshore as well, we'd actually do the white glove, we're putting the stuff together, etc. After COVID, they stopped doing that. We entered into an agreement about new business opportunities where basically we said they can do the installations and the custom deliveries. It would be upstairs and things like that. And but they took that to mean anything that said final mile, they could deliver it. And we were making the argument that in Brooklyn that we can do that work. The work that they were giving away to subcontractors when they went out offering bargaining unit work to all of our employees, all of our members, we can do that work. And so the settlement of that grievance was that basically they're going to work with the shop steward to determine which of those deliveries we can do in-house, and we're gonna do that work, and the ones that we determine that we can't will be the ones that we give to the subcontractors. So that should help, and we're gonna see how that works out, and we're just gonna finalize those details, but that was a pretty big win for us. So, going back to good and welfare, the scholarship golf outing was a success. Thank you to everyone that participated, whether you went to the event, whether you bought 50/50 raffles. I want to thank the retirees for their continued support of that, and not only when they're there on the day of the event, but all the things that they do leading up to that. Jessica D'Angelo, when I hired her, I said she's the assistant fund manager. I told her your most important job is to manage the golf outing, so she does a great job with that. She's very detail orientated, which is important, right, Bob? You know, thank you, Jessica. And then everybody else on staff, I know John Tripolo was very much involved, and Chuck and everybody on the executive board that helped out, whether it be selling tickets or making sure we got people to the event, and of course all the sponsors that we had as well. And as I said, I keep saying this every meeting, but before the next meeting, we're gonna have a meeting with the scholarship committee. I know a couple of people volunteered to sit on that committee and help out, and we're gonna look to see if we can increase those scholarships, which I believe we can, and also better outreach to people. We give away not only 3 scholarships, one to a boy, one to a girl, and one to the grandchild of a retiree. We also give away 10 $1,000 gift certificates to Best Buy, so someone going to school they generally need a new laptop, a new computer. It always comes in handy. Sometimes we don't have enough applications to give those away, so we got to figure out, make sure that and afterwards people say, oh, I wish I had known, so maybe we're not doing such a great job of outreach. So those are the types of things about improving the benefit, making sure we're doing the proper outreach to people, make sure they apply. And not just our scholarship, there's 2 more scholarships on the international level. There's the James R. Hoffa Scholarship, and there's also the Teamsters have another scholarship fund that they've started. So there's a lot of opportunities, so we're gonna work on doing that, and I will have a report at the next meeting about how we met and some of the recommendations that were made. So, new Facebook page, it's Teamsters Local 707. I try and post stuff on there about things that are going on there, and we're also going to update. The website. If you look at our website, it's like, I think the last thing on there was 2018. So, but it was just the administrator got lost and everything. So anyway, we're gonna get a new website. We're gonna contract with somebody to do that and be able to give more timely information, resources to people that they can go to that website and be able to see what's going on in the union as they should be able to. So with that, we also have the I printed this on both sides. I made a mistake, and so I lost my pages, and so. There's not going to be any Labor Day parade this year because the way it falls on the Jewish holidays, and there's quite a few synagogues right on Fifth Avenue where the parade is, so they decided to cancel it this year. It's always a good event, but not this year. Going to welfare reminders. As we said before, there's a new drug provider, and it will be on the cards that you would have received if you get your insurance through Local 707, which I think everybody but T-Force does. New case manager. It's also Hines Associates. If you need, once again, look on the back of that card. You need to make sure, the good thing, we have a vision benefit. It's hard to read on there. We got a lot of stuff on that card. But you need to pre-serve for MRIs and CAT scans, and if you're in the hospital, you need to call them. But make sure that you call them, you're not using your old card and you have the right one. One of the things we're really trying, we talk about this all the time, is electronic EOBs, explanation of benefits. When you go to the doctor and everything else, you get a letter from us. This is what service that you provided. The rest of the world does it electronically, and where you can just go on, you get an email saying that you have a new EOB, a new explanation of benefits. We're going to try and figure out, me and Jessica are tired of doing all those mailings, and we're going to try and figure out a way to easily facilitate that. There is some question about whether or not we can without people opting into it, allow them to go right to electronic EOBs, would save us a lot of time. But we're gonna be working on that. So, did anybody say anything on welfare, Jess? No. Okay. Next is pension updates. I know we said we were gonna send out the signature verification forms in the summer. It's gonna be the fall. So we're gonna, but just once again, it's gonna be an annual event. We probably find about 20-something people that just don't respond. And they don't respond for several reasons. Some of them are not with us anymore. Some are in nursing homes. And some of them are just forget to do it. Sometimes the benefit isn't that big. And but generally we have about 20 each year, and we have to catch up with them. And Jessica's very diligent. She's gone to people's homes to notarize their signature verification form for them. And we were going to send you to a nursing home, but I think we were off the hook on that one, right?
Yeah, I got egg once from somebody's backyard.
Oh yeah, she did, yeah. I would not, I know the guy who said, come on, walk in the backyard, I'm gonna give you some eggs. I would have warned you, you should tell. Don't go in the backyard.
Yeah, but on Wednesdays, if they wanna come in, I can notarize anything.
Yeah, that's a great idea. The retirees every Wednesday, almost every Wednesday, they come up to the Union Hall and they have bagels and coffee, and you feel like you're back in the driver's room from the old days when you hang out there. You can have a good time. And if anyone needs their signature verifications, any retirees, maybe we can spread that word, Bob. Anyone that gets it and doesn't have access to the to a notary, Jessica would be happy to do it. So it's a great idea. So pension applications, as I said before, it takes about 3 months. Call Gina Marie, she'll send you out all the information. And once again, I want to reinforce about that banking information. We did have several cases where people were fraudulently trying to change people's banking information to their bank account. And so we were alerted to that, and we've took aggressive action to make sure that when someone wants to change their banking information, we will verify that that is that person that's trying to do that. So that we have. How many new members do we have? We just have the one? Okay, so we still have to do the swearing in of the new members, so if you come forward, and it's with 4C Foods, right?
Yes.
All right, so we represent a variety of people of different places. One of them is 4C Food. You good with that? Yeah. It's 4C Food. That they make breadcrumbs, the iced tea, and a lot of different things. So this is one of our new members. Come on over here, and I'm going to ask you. Can you read that? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. Okay. I state your name. Pledge my honor to faithfully observe the Constitution and bylaws of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters.
Constitution and the law of the International.
And the bylaws and laws of Local Union 707.
Law of International.
And I pledge I'll comply with all rules and regulations.
Rule and
Regulations.
law of local Union.
For the government of the International Union.
Of the government of the International Union.
And I'll faithfully perform all duties assigned to me to the best of my ability and skill.
I will comply with all of regulations.
And we go right to the bottom. I will at all times
I will all times
bear true and faithful allegiance to
I will all time bear the truth and
the International Brotherhood of Teamsters
International.
and Local 707. Congratulations, welcome. I like that hat, looks good on you. All right, next we have the, okay, good. Close, I look better close up. Some of these other guys, not so much. Yeah. That's good, that works, yeah. So got it. All right, so we did that. Come see John Zapoli after the meeting. And as you know why we do these new member seminar, we try and get people to come to at least one union meeting. All our initiation fees are set up in a way that you pay an additional $100 towards initiation fee, which you get back when you come to the new member seminar. So it's always, that's how we get people to come in here, and I think it's a great way to, they can at least see what goes on, the workings of our union. Okay, with that, I think we're down to the 50-50.
Kevin, I can.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I can say one thing.
Yes.
I read in the paper the other day about the president's fund that he started for children.
Trump accounts.
Trump accounts. And I just read where any child under 18 years old can apply. Originally, it was the babies born within a certain time. Now, it was in the Newsday, any child under 18 years old can apply for this $1,000 Trump account.
That's not the case.
No?
So what it is, if you were born in, because my 2-year-old grandson can't get it, but if he was 1 year old, he would get the $1,000. But anyone up until age 18 can contribute to that Trump account, and it grows tax-free. And they can access that money, I believe, when they're 18 years old, when they're going to school. So it's a good way for money to be invested on someone's behalf, and it will grow tax-free, which is a good idea. So, but they're not eligible for the 1,000, but they can and should contribute.
Anybody can contribute to their
Yes.
account, doesn't matter
Yes.
how old you are.
Right.
In this particular state, children under 18, just in 2 days ago.
Read it again.
All right.
Read it again. On Wednesday, you can tell me I was wrong.
All right.
All right? I don't think you're going to, but.
You got your hand up there.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I like the ideas what you're saying about the scouts, so I just go into that a little bit. Maybe, like in revisiting it, I know you're not gonna do it until October, but, you know, the big focus on going to college happens in October. So maybe we're doing it too late, when we're getting into like January, February, March, you know, like addressing people with it and making them know about it. You know, October's when they're taking their SATs and they're doing that, and then maybe another thought also is like, the people that are going to private schools for high school, maybe split it, maybe do 5 for college, 5 for high school. I mean, I know, I think my sister's paying for a kid over here in Sacred Heart, $14,000 a year. I mean, the
Yeah.
scholarship could help the high school kid, you know.
Yeah, I mean, only so many resources that we have, but one of the things I would like to look to is expand it towards vocational schools as
Yeah.
well. You know, so these are things we're gonna talk about. In terms of October, that was only that we're gonna have the meeting before
No, I know that,
October.
I'm just saying that
But-
it's a focus.
Yeah, but we wanna make sure we have it in place, so in the beginning of the year, when the applications come in and the graduating seniors are starting to, you know, do all these, apply for all these different things, that they're well aware of the stuff that we're
Yeah,
doing.
no, I agree with you on that, just I'm saying,
Yeah.
a lot of times the people are forgetting about it after that because they're all focused on the college.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but we'll try and do it so it's a year-round thing, you know, that we
Yeah.
continue to make sure that we reinforce it, so, thanks for the input, so.
One other thing, Kevin.
Yes, Ronnie?
Yeah, with Social Security, when you retire and stuff now, some of them, they've just passed a law that they're denying your claims because they're aware of workman's comp claims you had in the past, and it's liabilities that go on for the rest of your life. So if you go to like a doctor, they could deny the claim based on the fact that you have an open workman's comp case. And they could go back.
Oh, meaning that should be
Right.
proper, you're talking about, not Social Security, you're talking about Medicare or Medicaid?
Right, for retirees. and people
Yeah, they're being-
Plan on retiring.
Yeah, they're being very vigilant about not being the first payers.
Right.
We have several members that are Medicare eligible and are still working, and they will do every couple of years, they will do an audit to make sure that any of the claims that they paid should not have been paid by another provider, another insurance provider, including us. So, yeah, so they are vigilant about that, and they could be saying that if workers' comp is first in line, they should be paying first. I got that right, Mike and Jacob? Yeah. Yeah. So with the workers' comp injury, specifically, a workers' comp injury would be primary, even if someone's Medicare or Medicaid eligible, would have to go through workers' comp first before Medicare or Medicaid?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
It just happened, that's why.
Yep, that's gonna happen. They don't wanna pay anything they don't have to. So, okay. All right, we got the 50-50?
Yeah.
Andy? Who's gonna pick out? We have our new members always pick out the 50-50, the winning ticket.
Just shake it up.
Yeah, he shakes it up every meeting, he shakes it up.
Now I'm gonna win.
All right.
How much, Andy?
125.
145 to the winner?
Yes.
Oh, you had a good day, huh? A lot of bagels and coffee that will buy. There you go. All right, here's the winner is 115-3134. 3134, the last four. And it was not me again. 115-3134.
3134.
Right here. Ah, yeah,
I told you if you didn't shake it up, I was gonna win.
well, at least he had a shirt. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
I won $25,000 on that number one stuff.
Really?
New York
Don't
State
let
Lotto.
the IRS know about that.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, with that, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Chris Pizzuto, second by James Ryan. I was, before everybody leaves, just make sure that you have, if you're gonna go in the back, come see, just keep that for one more minute. If you're gonna go in the back for the luncheon, come see Charles Paul here, and he'll make sure you have a wristband. All right? All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.